Let's turn now to Chuck to try and make sense of all of this for us. Chuck, sorry to put you in that position, but how did we get to this point with Joe Biden to have that kind of a performance on the stage? His team wanted this debate. They set the parameters. Is the result going to be a long summer for the president on the campaign trail?
Well, I think it's definitely going to be a long summer. I mean, there's no doubt there. And they've been, look, behind the scenes, they've had surrogates calling up labor leaders and saying, hey, he's not getting out. Don't try to do it. You'll be out there on your own. I think they are concerned about trying to sort of stop any of this movement sort of in the crib, if you will, right? You know, hurry up and stop it now because they don't want to create a sort of a drip, drip, drip. And look, the good news for Biden, no major elected Democrat has said he's got to step aside. You've had some formers, you've had some prominent, former strategists and stuff, but nobody currently sort of in the elected Democratic leadership. If that changes, look, I have to tell you, Nancy Pelosi is somebody who's very careful with her words. I found what she said and what she didn't say to be fascinating. I continue to believe she's probably the one person here that might have some influence. I don't even think former President Obama does. The relationship between Obama and Biden is odd, shall we say? And I don't know if Obama would even feel comfortable, playing the so-called Barry Goldwater role. Right. When I say that, I mean when Senate Republicans back during Watergate went to Nixon and said, "Hey, buddy, you gotta go." I can't imagine him playing that role. I could imagine former Speaker Pelosi playing that role if she thought, well, somebody's got to do this. And I'll tell you this, I think people are going to go home for the weekend, Ryan. I think they're going to be talking to people, what Debbie Dingell said, talking to constituents. I think people are going to look at their own polling. Oh, this is a weird time to poll. Biden's actually lucky that it's 4th of July week, right? It's not a reliable time to poll. But, if on Sunday or Monday you see somebody and then another, that is when I think there's trouble. And all of these folks are going to be going home for 4th of July picnics and talking to their constituents. So I think the next week is a big deal for Team Biden.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up constituents. I spent all day today trying to get Democrats to get beyond the talking points on Capitol Hill and didn't have much success. And one of the things I was most struck by when I watched the debate last night, obviously I heard from a lot of operatives and lawmakers and things along those lines, but I also heard from just a lot of average, everyday people, friends of mine, college friends, neighborhood friends, who seemed alarmed by what they saw on television. Do you think Democrats understand that this goes beyond just the back and forth of what's happening here inside the Beltway and that this was something that average, everyday Americans were paying pretty close attention to?
I don't. I think many of them are trying to comfort themselves in sort of, well, this happens, it's the bedwetters, it's this or that. I don't think they fully appreciate that. And it's interesting. We have it's a very narrow window here. If Democrats did want to change, if they could talk Biden into doing this, they really, even though the convention's in mid-August, they've earlied up the roll call. He actually is going to get the nomination potentially about 2 weeks earlier because the Democrats did that in order to prevent, make sure they got on the Ohio ballot, if you recall that little kerfuffle a few weeks back. And so you really only have a window of about 4 weeks. If major polling doesn't really start showing up and if it is an impact and we don't see it, all of a sudden your window's narrowing and narrowing and narrowing here. Yeah. So I do think Biden, if he can get out survive the next 10 days without anybody major publicly coming out, I don't know how you stop him from becoming the nominee.
Well, but do you think that Democrats have really come to grips with the idea that 40%, maybe even 45 to 47% of this country is comfortable voting for Donald Trump? Because what I heard over and over again today on Capitol Hill is that, well, the alternative is just so much worse. And when voters actually get a chance and have to choose between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, they're never going to pick Donald Trump. But sometimes I feel as though a lot of these Democrats, particularly ones in safe districts and blue states, don't really understand how much of this country is willing to vote for Donald Trump, maybe even if they don't love him.
Well, and Ryan, I'd add this. If you really believe American democracy's on the line here, right? We hear this rhetoric a lot from Democrats. Are you really going to sit silent while you may be putting up somebody that maybe doesn't have what it takes to run the campaign it takes to win? And, you know, I'm sorry, this is the rules of politics. You got a campaign to win, right? You just can't hope people, well, he's been a good president. He's a bad debater, but a good president. You know, that isn't the way this works. Politics ain't beanbag, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I'll say this. If you're a Democrat who has lectured Mitch McConnell for not having the guts to stand up to Trump and vote the right way or do the right thing, put the country over your party, and you sit silently now while you watch this slow motion potential train wreck, I don't think you have a lot to stand on. If you're sitting silently here, you know it's not working, but you're afraid to speak up.
Yeah, they have a lot to think about, and as you point out, Chuck, not a lot of time to make serious decisions if they're going to change course. Chuck Todd, thanks so much for bringing us your expertise on this important day. We appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.